Alright guys, welcome back to another video. Shman J. So welcome to a discussion and comparison against two devices that you'll probably hear in the same conversation a lot because of this device right here, the Surface Duo. It is something new, fresh, hot, and it is going to get compared in this video. Now, I think I said initially that I probably wouldn't compare these, but I had to. I wanted to go ahead and do a quick brief overview after owning these for a little bit of time. Now, I've owned this one for about a week and a half. I've owned this one since probably 3 to 4 weeks. I'm not really sure, but at the recording of this video. Now, I wanted to use this for at least a week to get some sense of how I could compare it to my usage on the Surface Duo. Now, if you're wondering, both of these have SIM cards. Both of these are my two daily drivers. Well, two of my daily drivers, sadly. I got so many. I only carry two at a time. I have multiple lines, but I only carry two at a time. And it's these two right now. So SIM card number one, main SIM card as people like to put it, and secondary SIM card here in the Surface Duo. This used to be the main while I was full throttle with this. But let's get into this. So there's going to be several different types of people watching this video. There's going to be people that don't own either one of these devices and you're curious about either this one, or you didn't know about this one, vice versa, and you just happen to look on it and you say, hey, oh, he's compared these devices, let's check them out. And there's going to be those people that actually own both of these or own one of these, and you're just here to see what the differences is in my experience, and I'll give them to you. So, and then there's those people that, just have no interest in these and you're just here to support the channel. And there's people out there that own the Surface Duo that think it's the best. And there's people out there that own the Fold and think it's the best. Totally entitled to your opinion. And so view that as this is my opinion and my use case for these devices. So, most people would say this is for a business user. Well, reality is this is a business user's phone too. A business user's phone is a phone that the company gives you or you use yourself for business and you make it what it is. So there's no use scenario where this can't be a business phone or this can't be a business phone or this is strictly for business and no play. Those just don't exist because it depends on what you're doing with your device. Now, there'll be a lot of people that jump out there and just immediately comment based on the title. Oh, the Surface Duo is a business phone. You don't know what you're doing. I think you should probably exit because your feelings are going to get hurt in this video because reality is the Surface Duo is not the best device for business. And it's not realistic in a lot of situations. And the same thing for the Fold. The Fold does things better and the Surface Duo does things better. But I've learned that when someone's really into something, they tend to defend it. And I think you have to keep a neutral mind on things, and you have to be able to watch other people's opinions without being so judgmental of that. And I will practice what I preach as well. I'll try to do that myself as well. Now, in this video, let's jump into this. I'm going to start discussing first with the screens. Now, you have both of these devices here. You got them both here. And you both have side-mounted fingerprint readers, which I think is cool. And you have a different layout right here. So open, and I'm starting this way because, well, this is where we need to start. Open, they have completely different aspect ratios. You've got a 3:2, and then I think this is a 4:3, I believe it is. So it's completely different ratios. So you've got 7.6 inches AMOLED open, and you've got 8.1 AMOLED open. You've got 1800 by 2700, and this is some weird one, 1768 by 2208. End result is you still have a higher pixel count on the Surface Duo because of the ratio 3:2. But what about quality? Well, they both look great. Now, unfortunately, I do have a matte screen protector on this one, and I don't have my matte screen protector for the Fold2 yet. But in the end, the quality is still going to be able, I can tell the difference in quality. Now, we're not just talking about quality of screens, we're talking about the way the screens look. Now, I have two of my wallpapers up on here. These are the same wallpapers, just different colors, and you can see how they look on this display. You can see how they look. They look, as a matter of fact, I'll go ahead and change this one to the exact same as that one. And there you go. This is how they look. This is how both of these look. Now, it's not that the Surface Duo looks bad. It's just that I have two 5.6 inch displays, and they do come in handy when it comes to, the other things with the device. But for a viewing pleasure, I don't like watching full screen videos on the Surface Duo, and I end up using it like this. This is where the Surface Duo beats out on the Fold when viewing content like this, because I only get a small screen and I get a full screen over here. And so there's advantages to having these dual displays with the hinge running down the center, but I personally like the display on the Fold better. We'll get into the other things with the Surface, but this is a much more pleasurable experience when I'm viewing something. There's no split down the middle when I want to look at it like this or like this. That is why I like the Surface Duo less than the Fold when it comes to screen. And then also screen quality is a thing. The screen quality is better on the Surface Duo or on the Fold when looking at content. And let me pull up something here. So if you're just looking at it like this, you have, just a straight on look for both devices. And now with the Surface Duo, if I tilt like this, it'll go into this orientation, and this pretty much almost matches the feel of the front view for this device, the Fold. But still, in quality, it's just not there. And then if I put it into full screen like this, and then I go ahead and put it in the full resolution or full display like this, and then I go here, that's not pleasurable. And then if I do it like this for the Fold, it's pleasurable. It looks better, and it's more pleasurable to view. The colors look better. Everything looks great on the Fold, and that is just my opinion on that. So a little bit of time on that, but I had to at least show you because I want you to be able to see the point that I'm trying to make. This is not really a good look when it comes to viewing content, and that's just how I feel about the screens. And yes, this will be kind of a detailed video, so just bear with me. I'll try not to spend too much time on each. Now, the next thing I want to look at is the hardware. Now, the hardware is where I like the Surface Duo better. Now, neither one of these have an IP rating, but in fact, when you're looking at these, this is just almost magical how much thinner this device is when compared to the Fold. The Fold is two phones together, and so technically is the Duo, but the Duo is very thin. I mean, very thin. And not just that, the Duo, and speaking of thin, I mean, this is just ridiculous right here. This is super thin, and just the overall hardware and feel, it feels really good. Now, yeah, it's wide. Let's be clear on that. It is wide, but the hinge on here, splitting it down the center, giving you actually two displays, it is in fact better for usage when doing certain things. And this hinge is just genius. I think this is flat out genius. I like this hardware much better than the Surface Duo. The Surface Duo has a glass, bendable glass or folding glass with plastic on top. Then on top of that, we have this screen protector that they put on. And it's, while this does look better for viewing and things like that, the overall hardware feels like this is not as sturdy as the Duo. And that is where I think I like it better. I wish this came in a white. This obviously comes in white, and I was easily able to cover it with a nice gray skin to preserve it. And I just like the way it looks. I just think the Surface Duo looks a heck of a lot better. Yeah. Hardware wise, I think it feels really good. It looks good. Now, it doesn't obviously feel better for making phone calls, but at the same time, it is a premium feeling device. And if you've never felt a Surface Duo, you're going to be shocked at what you feel when you do feel it. So hardware overall, like the way they're put together, I like the Surface Duo better. Now, another area where I prefer the Surface Duo, well, it's not even that I prefer it, it just does better in my personal usage, is the battery. Now, I discussed the battery life on the Folds video recently, so check that video out if you haven't already done so. But the Surface Duo, these are getting about the same amount of screen on time, if you want to measure it that way. But the Surface Duo shines a heck of a lot better in standby time. The standby time is ridiculous on here. I mean, I can literally go 2 days or so on a full charge and then still get about 6 to 8 hours of screen on time. Well, I am in fact getting 6 to 8 hours of screen on time on the Galaxy Fold as well, but the standby time is not getting any better. It's between 16 and 22 hours, and that's not a lot of standby time. Meaning, not just sitting, I mean through regular usage, the overall, the most I've gotten out of this device, I think, is maybe 22 hours or so off of one charge. Now, yeah, I'm making it through a full day. That's not an issue. I'm making it through a full day. But having to charge it every day, I'm annoyed with that. I really am annoyed with it. It's super frustrating, and I don't really like doing that. With the Surface Duo, on the other hand, battery life off the charts. And let me show you the scale on here. I don't really like how they do the battery on the Samsung devices. I don't like it. I wish they would just kind of do it like other use cases. But look at my use cases are really good. I'm getting lots of battery out of this thing. Now, obviously, I've been using this for at least 4 days prior to this, but this is from the 28th to current day. And, the battery life is great on here, man. But the Surface Duo's battery is fantastic, man. It's, let me see if I can find the, it uses the old battery scale. It uses basically the, look right here. More than 2 days remaining. You see, so that lets you know if I put these side by side and let them sit and just let them sip, the Surface Duo will definitely last longer. And I don't turn off sync and things like that. And I do have ultra power saving mode on here, and even when I turned on ultra power saving mode, it still did not really last that long. I could get a full day out of it with power saving mode, but not without it. Okay. So one area where the Surface Duo fails in comparison to the Fold, I lost my train of thought for a second, is the cameras. I have a pro mode over here, man. I mean, I like to shoot in pro mode, and just period, man. I can do everything with the Fold. And I've got all these special modes and stuff like that. Like a lift. I mean, there's a whole bunch. I mean, look at this. This is crazy, man. I can't even get into everything this thing can do with the cameras because it's performing like a beast mode camera device that like it should be. They both shoot in 4K. And I don't need to put up a bunch of samples because honestly, this is just a silly thing to do right here. Honestly, I feel like this is where Microsoft really cut the corners. It crashed on me. Trying to get it. Here we go. I've got 4K 60, and I mean this is the video recording capabilities. This is it. Nothing. I mean, this is really all you need. It's just that fact is they don't compare. How about that? I can't even get into this long drawn out of why, but they just don't compare. Look at my wallpaper. This is another thing. It's frustrating, but this you just got to go with it. I've been having that issue with my Duo. When I change the orientation, the software will glitch if I don't have a default wallpaper on there. I don't want to get off into that, but all they have is just one camera up here, and it's good, not great. Either is this a $2,000 camera? No. Is this a $1,600 camera? No. But this camera beats up on this camera by a long shot. Cameras, Z Fold 2 all the way. Another area where the Z Fold 2 just smashes and destroys the Surface Duo is the speakers. Now, this device has a stereo speaker setup and has a speaker up top and has a speaker down here on the bottom. And the Surface Duo just has this lame old speaker right there in this little small slit. I don't understand why they did that, but you can tell me that OSJ is. Look at this. I haven't even gotten to the software portion yet, and the Duo is forcing me to go there. But there's this little slit up here, and while it is not a poor speaker, it's just not as loud as the Fold. It's just what it is. Now, another area where the Fold does extremely better, and let's just say I'm going to group these together. I didn't put software on here like officially on my list. I have a list up here that I'm just kind of going off of that I wrote up over the time of using these. Performance and software, the Fold wins hands down. This has been no secret. The Surface Duo is not ready for prime time when it comes to software. There's way too many software glitches, and the Samsung software is obviously final. It's it's a well polished machine over here, and then you have this Surface Duo who's the first run at it. Now, even if before you say, "Oh, Jay, that's a first gen device," even if I had the first generation Fold software and performance, it's still better than the Surface Duo. This phone needs RAM. It needs 12 gigs of RAM. I was reading on Pristine's video where a guy was trying to explain about RAM is. Everybody knows how to. If you're a techie, you know what RAM is. You know what ROM is too. But this device needs more RAM, period. It becomes sluggish after a while. Most of the RAM is used up in memory, and you start to store things. You find yourself having to clean out the memory on this a whole bunch, because it'll start to get sluggish, and then the gestures will just, the software experience is just not great. It's not great. And I've found that a lot of people are making excuses for this device, that it's a first generation device. Well, you know what? Hey, those people keep saying it's a first generation device. So what? Yes, I'm not going to get rid of this. Obviously, I'm going to keep it because I'm willing to wait it out to see what the potential is here with this software. They can revamp this software with a snap. They can give you a complete wipe of all this crap that they have on here now and make it look completely different. With the software update, they can totally do that. But this is what they're sticking with, and I'm going to stick with it. However, I'm not going to be bamboozled into thinking that I'm supposed to make excuses for this software. It needs more RAM, and the software is not ready. That's like the main problem with this device. It needs more RAM to help it function more, to give it more speed, and to be able to hold things in the background and function well when you need them. The basic gestures on here, they're good. They're just like this device, and they even have more gestures. You've got that spanning feature where you can put everything in the center and blah, blah, blah. You have all these things, but it doesn't do any good with 6 gigs of RAM. Personal usage, I always have a software glitch on here. I couldn't even have change the wallpaper without it glitching. I wonder if it'll do it again. Like when you change it to this orientation. Let's see here. Yeah, I've got rotation lock on. Sometimes when I do this, it's not going to do it now, but you saw it do it earlier. It'll just mess up the wallpaper. And I'm not even doing anything with the wallpaper. Oh, there it is. Whoa, it worked. That is the first time that has worked. I tell you no lies. Every time I switch to this orientation, and as you can see, it doesn't even do it every time, because you can swipe out like this. This is one of the pluses from multitasking on here. It should work like this every time, and it's finally doing it on video. I can't even believe that it actually works. But nonetheless, that's the downfall for the Surface, man. That software and performance, it's just not there compared to the Fold. The Fold 2 obviously is running double the RAM and the Snapdragon 865 Plus. But that doesn't mean that 855 is a bad processor. I think optimization is key. Their software coupled with only 6 gigs of RAM is hurting this device. Get mad if you want to. So what? This is my personal experience, and I'm telling you, I'm using both of these. And I always have some kind of hiccup with the software on this device. Period. No ifs, ands, or buts. All right, now, multitasking. Multitasking is where the Surface Duo is favored over the Surface Duo, the Galaxy Fold. That is a completely different arena. Reason being is that I can split 2 apps easily on this device, and on the Fold, I cannot run Twitter and Instagram in the same, like next to each other. I can't do it. So if I try to do that, it's going to tell me I cannot drop it. It'll have to go full screen, or I can only drop it in the center for a pop-up view. Now, while this isn't bad, it's just that it obviously doesn't look as good as these devices as it is on the Surface Duo. It just looks different. It's a completely different look. So that's going to be something that you'll have to take note of. However, you can multitask with 2 applications. So I've got Twitter and YouTube there. Now I don't know why it won't allow me to do Instagram and Twitter together. I don't know why it won't do that, but I got the YouTube at the top and I got the Twitter at the bottom. I don't know why it won't do that. Shout out to Pristine. He just released his Surface Duo video as recording this video. But I don't know why it won't let me multitask with Twitter and Instagram. Whatever the case may be, I can multitask this way with other applications. See, Twitter and Instagram just fight each other. I don't know what that's about. That's why. But now when I can put applications over here, multiple, it's 3 applications, 2 small, 1 big, and you can resize them. But, you know, multitasking on the Surface Duo is just better. And then you also have that spawn feature where you can drop spawn, whatever. You can drop it right in the center and have a different layout, especially with my email. Where's my email at? You get the gist of it. I've shown you this before, but where's my Microsoft Office at? Oh, here we go. Outlook. Wait, let's open it. And then I can go like this. And then you can see here, over here on this side, it's just a great multitasking functionality on here. It's just good. And I just created this group right here just for general purposes. So I'm just going to delete it. You can rename groups. You can put them all. You can just do a bunch on here. You can have any 2 applications launch at the same time on here. And then multitask. You can also run 3 applications on the Surface Duo as well. It's just that you can't have it like it is on the Fold. The Fold's applications are split by screen if you want to, if you will, and then the Duo is you're going to have a pop-up window for the YouTube app or whatever you have there. So, nonetheless, multitasking on the Surface Duo, obviously, that's going to be much better because I physically have 2 different screens separated by this hinge right here. So that is the difference. Now, the Fingerprint Reader on both is generally really fast. You have, and I just open it up like that because I don't have an outer screen, but you generally have about the same, but the only thing I like different is the power button doubles as a fingerprint reader on the Fold, and that's pretty much it. That's the difference between those 2. You can actually leave this open if you wanted to. And that's another thing, real briefly, on side note, the multitasking or the always on display, you can just leave this open if you need to see your notifications pop up, but I generally keep it closed because I just like how the Surface Duo looks on the outside. I think it's pretty cool. But you do have always on display here. You technically have it here. You got this peek feature. You peek in and then you can see what's in there, and you can close it if you don't want to open it up and see what's there. So that's the fingerprint reader. They're pretty much generally the same. Now, multimedia is where these devices, it's kind of questionable what you want to consider multimedia. They both have tent mode. They both have a way they can go like this. You can watch a video up here. And it's going to genuinely be the same. It's just about the amount of surface that you can, no pun intended, it's the amount of surface that you get on the surface. That's it. That's pretty much it for multimedia. They both can do tent mode. You can watch videos out here on this display, and then again you got a full display over here on this one. That is the difference for multimedia. You pretty much have multimedia functionality the same on both of these, but you can flip this one 360 degrees on the hinge, and that's why hardware definitely goes to it went to the Surface Duo. Being able to flex and flip with this joint over the Fold is a plus. And then when it comes to watching media content, you can do that. You can flip it all the way back around if you need to, but the Surface the Fold can also do it. You just have a much smaller view, and that's not a good or a bad thing. It's about what you're comfortable looking at, and I think either one of these are good for multimedia. Even though people try to peg this as a multimedia device, period, it is good for multimedia. But when you think about it and you're comparing it next to the Surface Duo, the screens are larger and they're both AMOLED, so you can flip and watch on either screen. And even though you have a bigger canvas of watching on the Surface Duo, it's not as appealing and it's not as pleasing when I'm watching full screen. So multimedia, I label that a tie, just because you might like how it's viewed on the Fold, or you might like how it's viewed on the Surface. I like them both. So that's that. Now, something that people don't talk about a lot is texting and phone calls. So texting on the Surface Duo, let me open up a message here. Let's see here. Okay. So this thing, man, I tell you, the Surface Duo is kind of annoying at times. So here is the Surface Duo. Alrighty, so software glitches again. That is texting on the Surface Duo. If I'm just going to use one screen, and then if I'm going to use one screen over here, this is this is what it looks like. Now, before you laugh at this, because I'm already laughing, the Surface Duo obviously has bigger screens, so you're pretty much getting a full screen display every time. However, if I open this up and then I do like this, I get even more because this is the compose mode. Now, the difference is, open it up here and then I do like that, I get a lot more surface as well. No pun intended. Surface is already highlighted over here. Isn't that funny? It's already highlighted as a word. But I get more surface on the Surface Duo when using the full screen like this. But if you have them like this, you just get to see more on the Surface. That's generally it. But I can tell you that texting and emails on either one of these is fantastic. Is it more comfortable to text on the Surface Duo because I get to see more? Probably not. I mean, just because I get to see more, that doesn't mean that it makes for this great experience. It does feel good in the hand to text on this like this because I got more to hold on to as far as wideness on the display. But the Fold feels really good because it's narrower, and I still get a big jumbo keyboard. Now, I'm not using the Samsung keyboard. If I switch it to the Samsung keyboard, it's just as good. It's the same thing. I get a nice full view and I get a lot of screen. So that's not really an issue for either one of these things. That's why I call that a tie for me. I like them both for texting and emails, extended texting and emails. I think they both are fantastic. That's about where I'm at with it. I don't feel any type of way about either one of them. So texting and emails on there, they're the same to me. I don't feel any kind of way. Now, the last thing I want to cover is phone calls. Phone calls on the Surface Duo gets annoying after a while because if I hold it in my left hand, and I could flip it like this and hold it like this every time with it flipped open or whatever, you can have it like this, right? But most of the time, I just open it up in whatever orientation it's in. And sometimes this part is poking into my hand right here. It's cutting into my hand. And so I do end up flipping it like this with the round side in the corner of my hand like that. However, it's still uncomfortable. It's still uncomfortable to hold this for phone calls. Now, you can use a Bluetooth, obviously. That's fine. Go ahead and pop open your Bluetooth. And you've got a Bluetooth for either one of these. But let's just be fair here. If you don't have access to a Bluetooth and you need to hold this for an extended period of time, yeah, the Fold is better. The Fold is a candy bar. It folds into a candy bar style. And it's just more realistic. You can't always... I love to give a resolution for things. I'm big on that, saying, hey, if we have a problem, let's try to solve it. But the reality is, this is just better for phone calls if I need to hold it. It doesn't hurt at all for extended use. In no way at all. It feels good. I genuinely like the Fold for making phone calls if I have to hold it, because I like to hold my phone sometimes, or I'm in a situation where I have to hold my phone sometimes, period. And neither one of these have a headphone jack, but they do have Type-C audio for headphones and things like that, so they work if you're those persons who just doesn't have a Bluetooth. Most people have a Bluetooth, but if you don't have one, then that's fine. You don't have one. That's cool. But I will tell you that making phone calls and holding, and also speakerphone. Some might wonder about speakerphone. Speakerphone is fantastic on the Fold because it has two speakers and it's really loud, and it's really good on the Surface Duo as well, but it's just better on the Fold. That's just what it is. No ifs, ands, or buts. So there's a comparison between these two right here. Objective as possible. I mean, this is real world use for both of these. I've had this for probably 10 days or so and had this for probably 3 weeks or more. Again, not really counting. I just know that I've had them both for quite a bit of time, especially the Surface. And you know, it's a good. Both of these are great. I'm not going to tell you, oh, you can't go wrong with either one. I zoomed a little too much. You can't go wrong with either one. Yeah, you can go wrong with either one because both of these are really expensive. Even though I didn't pay $2,000, this cost $2,000. Now this, yeah, no discounts on this. This was almost $1,600, almost $1,700 after taxes. So you determine what you think is worth your money. People love to say, is it worth it? You have to determine that. That's up to you to determine whether something is worth it or not. But that's the comparison. Fight it out in the comments if you want to. That's up to you to do so. But just remember, this is my opinion about this. And some of you guys will agree on some fronts, and some of you guys will not, which is fine. We agree to disagree. You know, but again, for those people that might get in the comments and just read the title and say, oh, you don't know how to use the Surface, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, okay. All I can tell people is I always respect other people's opinions, and I suggest that you do mine, because you can try to fight me in the comments all you want to. You're not going to get anywhere, because this is my real world usage and how I feel about these devices. That's it. So screen goes to the Fold, hardware goes to the Surface, battery goes to the Surface, cameras and speakers go to the Fold, performance goes to the Fold, multitasking goes to the Surface, multimedia, it's a tie, I've explained that, fingerprint, tie, phone calls and things like that go to the Fold, and texting and emails is about the same as well. It's a tie for me. So there it is. I didn't lay out everything on this sheet of comparisons, but these are the main things that I'm seeing every day for usage. So there you have it. The time has come to end this, and I hope you guys enjoyed. Lengthy video, obviously, but I appreciate you guys hanging in there, because some of these things are going to take some time to explain or walk through. So if you have anything that I didn't compare in the video, leave a comment down below, and I'll try to respond to it in the comment section. But share the video if you want to. If not, I appreciate you stopping by. Take care.